In this video, I want to talk about reimbursing yourself for business expenses that you paid for with personal funds. I made a few videos in the last few weeks about expenses that you paid for with personal funds that you did not reimburse yourself for. In other words, you just posted them to equity, and that's fine. But if you want to reimburse yourself for that expense, then you would treat it more like a regular expense of the business. And I'm just going to demonstrate this in QuickBooks and Wave, just so you can see it in both software programs. And then I also want to say that, just to clarify, if you have a business where you pay yourself withdrawals, such as a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC, then sometimes your expenses may get commingled a little bit, and you can just treat it like any other draw or equity transaction, and that's fine. But if you have a corporation, that's considered a completely separate entity, and it's on a completely separate tax return than your personal taxes and personal income. So you're probably going to be more likely to reimburse yourself if you have a corporation. However, you can reimburse yourself from the business checking account no matter what type of business you have. So I'm going to demonstrate this in QuickBooks first. I could create an expense, a check, or a vendor bill. If I wrote a check to myself to pay myself back, then probably logically create a check to match that. And I would just have myself as the payee. I set myself up as a vendor, and my category is going to be whatever category is relevant. I'm just going to use the same example that I used in the other videos, where I met with a client, paid $10 for coffee, and that would probably go under meals and entertainment. I could put a memo here, and then hopefully I have a receipt to attach just for audit trail purposes. And then for the bank account, I'm going to put whatever bank account I wrote the check from or paid the expense from. And that's all I would have to do here. I could also reimburse myself through payroll. So if you're paying yourself a salary through your payroll system, you could just add that cost or add that expense as a reimbursement. And then in Wave apps, there's actually no separate designation for adding a check. You would just add an expense or a journal entry. I'm just going to add an expense so you can see what it looks like. And in Wave apps, you could add yourself as a vendor if you want to, or you could just leave this part blank, but it really honestly would be treated just like any other expense, except you would choose whatever checking account you use to pay yourself back with. I hope that clarifies things a little bit. If you still have questions, feel free to comment below, and otherwise, thank you for watching.